there, so it's me again. I'm going to do a video on comparing and ordering decimals. And what we're really doing is we're talking about rational numbers. And a rational number can be a whole number because a rational number, if you'll recall, is a number that can be written as a ratio. All right, so a number that can be written as a ratio. So a whole number like 6 over 1 is equal to 6 because 6 divided by 1 is 6. But whole numbers can also be, rational numbers can also be fractions. Because if you take 6 divided by 12, if you have half a dozen eggs, you have 0.5, which is really called 5/10. And I bring this up for a reason. This is in the tenths place. So you really have 5/10, which also implies that 6 over 12 is equal to 5 over 10, which is equal to 1 over 2, because this is half of a dozen, 5 is half of 10, and 1 is half of 2. So, but we're not going to get into that right now. I digress. So anyway, back to on track. So what I want to do real quick is I'm going to show you how smart you already are, because you already know all sorts of things about this. And I bet without me doing anything, you'd probably be able to do this on your own. The problem is a lot of people think that math has to be absolutely perfect, and that's where things get messy. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to order these numbers. I'm going to compare these numbers. I'm going to put them in the order from least to greatest. But I'm going to use my number line. And the reason why I use my number line is because I am a bit of a visual person and also a little bit of a disaster when it comes to technology. So I'm going to use my number line here. And this is going to be an approximation. But I'm going to show you what I do, because I want to be as accurate as possible, but I also understand that there's going to be some, it's not going to be perfect. So the first thing I could do is I could use my ruler and just measure everything, but my ruler doesn't really have numbers on it, so that kind of messes me up a little bit. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, you know what I could do? Maybe I'm going to modify this. All right, so I'm going to modify this for my needs. I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to make this, I'm actually going to make my number line a little bit smaller. Now, if you can't do that, you're going to have to do the best you can. If that's 100, that means, well, I know that halfway between 0 and 100 would be 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, it doesn't ask for 50, but there it is anyway. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to break my number line into 10 pieces. And I hope you understand why. Even though I'm not looking for these, that's going to be, oh, I want red. That's going to be 10, this would be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. Now, what I am going to argue is, even though we don't know, and I could use my ruler once again, but even if I didn't know, now I have a really good representation. And I know that 55 has to be somewhere right between 50 and 60. That would be my 55. My 35 is, let's not use 35. Let's use 32. 32 would be between 30 and 40, but it'd be closer to 30 than it would be to 40. So I'm going to say maybe right about there. That's probably about 32. 2 is between 0 and 10, but once again, 2 is really close to the 0 and not really close to the 10. All right, 75 is going to be halfway between 70 and 80. 90 happens to be exactly on 90. And then 99 is almost to 100, but not. And my 5 should be right between 0 and 10. So you see, what I did was, by putting in my own numbers, I made the task much simpler to do. Did I have to put in all these numbers? No. Did it make a huge difference? Absolutely. Now, what I want to do now is I want to take a look at something very similar. Look at this. Why do these grid lines just keep popping up? Here's an idea. I wonder, can I make format background? Can I put grid lines in? Ooh, I can. Check this out. Oh, I want big grid lines. Ooh, how about this one? What? All right, now this is really good. Now check this out. If I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, let's say I wanted to go and I wanted to put the numbers between 0 and 1. Now I'm going to organize by decimals, and I had 0.55, 0.32, 0.02, 0.75, 0.90, 0.99, and 0.05. All right. Well, what's 1/2 of 1? 1/2 of 1 would be 0.5 or 5/10. And you'll notice that all of my values here have 2 decimal places. Because they have 2 decimal places, we are talking about, does anybody know? Anybody know what place we're talking about? I'll give you a hint. It's either tenths or hundredths. If you said hundredths, you're absolutely correct. So we are working on the hundredths place. So let's see. This would be 1/10 or 10 hundredths. This would be 2 tenths or 20 hundredths. Oops. This would be 30 hundredths, 40 hundredths, 50 hundredths, which is 1/2, 60 hundredths, 70 hundredths, 80 hundredths, 90 hundredths, and 100 100ths, which is 1. So 0.99 is 99 hundredths, which is really the same as 99 out of 100. 0.05 is 5 hundredths, because remember this is in the hundredths place, which is really 5 out of 100. So when we go to put these on our number line, I can just take a look. 0.55, this is between 50 and 60. So this would be 55 hundredths. 0.32 is going to be closer to 30 than it is to 40. Hello? Hello? So I'm sorry, I just got a call from Abigail, who is interested in my insurance, and I foolishly took the call thinking it was somebody from work, but it was not. So I'm afraid I had to be a little rude and hang up on her. So I do apologize. If Abigail is ever watching this video, let it be known I apologize to you. Of course, I don't know why she would be watching this video. And then 0.99 is 99 hundredths, which goes right there. The last thing I want to say about comparing decimals is this. When you compare them, and by the way, you'll notice my 2 pictures are exactly the same. Between 0 and 1 and 0 and 100, my 2 pictures are exactly identical. They're almost even lined up. When you're comparing decimals, what you do, the easiest way to do this, in my opinion, is to line up your decimals. As you see me doing. And then because the tenths, see all the decimals are lined up, these are all 0, all my 1s are lined up. The tenths are bigger. These are like dimes, all right? These are like dimes compared to pennies. So my tenths, I say, well, which one is the smallest? If I wanted to go least to greatest, I'd say, well, which one is my smallest? And I see I have 2 that are 0. So once I find my tenths, then I have to look at my hundredths. So remember, these are parts of 100. And so now I have this one and this one. Well, 2 is less than 5, so 0.02. 2 hundredths is obviously less than 5 hundredths. So these two are checked off. And I might even cross them out. And then I say, well, what's my next smallest tenth? It looks like I have a 32 hundredths. So I'm going to cross that off. And then I say, well, what's next? 5 tenths, 7 tenths, 9 tenths, 9 tenths. So 5 tenths is next. So 0.55, 55 hundredths. I'm going to go to here now. I see I have 7 tenths, 9 tenths, 9 tenths. So 7 tenths is less. So I have 75 hundredths. And then I'm going to go to here. 0.90 and 0.99. Well, here I have 9 tenths, or 9 hundredths. I'm sorry, 90 hundredths. And here I have 99 hundredths. So that is how you can organize them from least to greatest. Set up your decimals so they're on a line, and then look for the, if you want least to greatest, smallest tenths, and then go to the hundredths column. And that's it. And once again, if you take a look at my number line, I have 2 hundredths. Oh, I didn't put 0.05 on. Oops. 0.05 would be there. And then 32 hundredths, 55 hundredths, 75 hundredths, 90 hundredths, and then 99 hundredths. It's a little confusing, but it's not actually too bad. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. All right?